traffic control here and on Parkway. Access for the site is down Taylor's Lane and down a driveway down here. Helipad refueling area. And the mulch dump spots under that fig.
Once, you'll obviously feel it, and then you'll be able to just power out and just take it off, sort of thing. And it'll get better and better as we get back through when you got a little bit more room.
Yeah. So now this should be like that. So you should be able to just go straight on like that.
So you pretty much have to, you come in and you hold the open.
You literally just
Terry was just saying something to think of is obviously that's swinging a long way below the chopper, and he's trying to bring it into you. Just be that's pretty heavy, and if it's swinging from the bottom of the chopper, just be eyes on.
Obviously the releases are there. Always underneath, never ever go in like that.
Yep.
Something if the helicopter
Pulls,
something jump up, there goes your arm over.
There's 160 there. Grab.
Yeah, we'll bring it around. Yeah. I'd come out through as far forward as you can there without being on the road. Oh, yeah. There's like a little, there's like a sign.
Oh, I reckon if you get a right bag,
Yeah, so coming into this job, there was a number of things we needed to consider. You know, a major part of this job was, what the end result was going to be. All this beautiful native vegetation that's endemic to the area, running along the Simpson Creek line, and the client's idea was to try and regenerate this area and bring it back to how it was. You know, we took into consideration how much collateral damage would we do by bringing these trees down, like a conventional way, manually with ropes and sort of negative rigging, and we sort of ruled that out as an option. We felt the collateral damage would be too great to the native endemic species. So, the next option is can we get a crane to it? And we looked at that, pretty thoroughly, and obviously it had to be a large crane, and we stepped out the area we could work in, and we had power lines and doing risk analysis of that option. We ruled that out. We reached out to Rotor Wing Helicopters and Michael and his team, and we sort of went into it with them and, showed them the site and showed them our plans and said, what do you reckon? And they all thought, yeah, we can do it.
I'm Michael Barnes, I'm the Chief Pilot of Rotor Wing Helicopters in Lismore. So in our industry, the number one thing to remember is that there's no rush. The last thing we want is when people are trying to rush us into a job and undermining the safety aspects of a job, and that was why it was such a pleasure to work with the guys at Inspiration Trees and the team that Nick and Kasia put together.
Planning for a project like this takes months, so there's a lot of logistics involved. There's meetings with the helicopters to work out what they can lift, their flight path, where we can land things, their refueling, and then on our end it's assessing the trees, working out how many lifts it's going to be, estimating the weight so we can get each lift right. Getting a team of climbers that are going to be capable to work fast but safely through the couple of days of lifting. So we've estimated there's going to be approximately 120 lifts of 14 camphor laurel trees. I think the turnaround here is only about 4 minutes. So from piece to the next piece being ready is going to be pretty quick. So we've got 6-7 climbers that are going to be rolling through on a rotation.
When it comes to the preparation side of the job, there's a lot that goes into the planning. There's a lot of factors that we have to deal with from the aviation side of things. You can't plan for everything, so it needs to be a fluid situation, and that's where communication was key. We have a young guy that works for us, Mark Wright, and his previous industry was he was an arborist, so he's a helicopter pilot and an arborist. It's the best of both worlds coming together. So we had a 3-way phone call going between Mark on the ground, who was talking to me as well on the ground, and straight to Drew, who was flying on the day.
Like,
So you really
and it's got a flat
demo
tire.
too, so minus another 50. You want to
We basically put a pretty big dent in it yesterday. We got about 70 picks out. So today, what we did to focus on is obviously getting the rest of those heads out. With there's probably about 25 picks in that.
So this is day 3 now at the job in Ewingsdale. We've come here early, got here at 6 o'clock in the dark. Everything's looking really well. Very interesting day yesterday. It was our first day lifting. First couple of lifts in the morning were pretty challenging as far as getting the hook to the climbers through the canopy of the trees. Obviously when you got rotor wash coming down and you got a hook sitting about 150 foot below a helicopter, it's trying to thread a needle through a haystack, so to speak. As we started getting a bit of a hole, the helicopter guys got a bit down pat and, you know, the turnaround time started flying through and yeah, it was really good.
So what people don't realise, we actually had 2 sites running at once. So at one site we had the climbers doing the cutting, and at the other site we had 6 of us processing all the timber. So we had Lockie on the slings and we had Jono and Marta controlling the loaders. So Ren and all the other boys were in charge of the chipper and making sure the road was clean before we let any traffic through. We were really fortunate to have the right gear here. We had a BC 2100. We also had 2 mini loaders and 3 trucks to keep up with the workload. So a critical part of this job was managing the traffic. When the helicopter was bringing over the sections, we had to ensure that the road was closed. Given the quick turnarounds, it was a full-time job for one person. It was amazing to have such a good pilot, dropping the pieces pretty much at the back of the chipper, which was awesome. Credit to the boys. Over the 3 days, everything went so smoothly.
The reason we're doing this was for a few important reasons. One is to minimise the impact on the riparian zone. 2 is to eliminate the camphor laurel, which is a Cinnamomum camphora. It is an endemic weed. It's not great for the ecosystem. It releases a lot of bad chemicals, allelopathic compounds. So once the camphor's gone, the local ecosystem, they won't have to fight against the allelopathic compounds that the camphor's release, which basically retard their growth, suppress them. Once they're leached out of the soil, they'll be a lot healthier, they'll have a lot more sunlight. Basically, they'll be thriving. Once the rain comes and washes it out, it's going to be gold. So there will be follow-up work, but this is the initial step. This is the big first step that needs to be taken.